What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. We have a lot of stuff to get through, and look, I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably wondering about the title of the stream, the thumbnail of the stream, and wondering what the hell I'm on about here with the Mohamed Salah to Chelsea stuff. I promise you, there is some rhyme and reason to this, so again, I'll go through it as the stream goes on. I hope that you're all well. I do need to know if my volume is okay, by the way, because there was a bit of an issue with my mic, which is why I was a little bit delayed starting the stream. So I do apologise. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this evening finds you all in fine fettle. I hope that you're getting ready for a nice weekend. Obviously, the Reds in action tomorrow against Southampton, which is a game, of course, that I will be doing a watch along of, starting from 7:45 tomorrow night. And I can't wait. It seems forever now since the Reds have been in action. What's up, everybody? How are you? It won't happen. Hello, Mike's fine. Thank you. Appreciate the update. Lovely to see you all. I really do appreciate you giving up some of your Friday evening to come and have a chat with little old me, ladies and gentlemen. Look, let's cut to the chase. We'll start off with the news around the Super League, UEFA, and the potential fines and stuff like that. So, there has been talk from UEFA, and I want to just read out exactly what's being said so I can give you guys the full heads up on this one. So, a lot of people were wondering what the punishment was going to be around the Super League, and again, the Premier League are going to issue their own punishment, but UEFA have gone this route. The 9 clubs will make a donation to benefit grassroots football and youth football in Europe to the tune of €15 million. Clubs will also see 5% of the UEFA revenues for one season withheld and redistributed, with substantial fines of €100 million should they try to play in an unauthorised competition. Now, again, this will be different to anything that the Premier League tried to do, but basically this is a little slap on the wrist and nothing more, because even the 100 million, it sounds like a lot when you hear about this. So the 100 million fine that's waiting there should any of these clubs look to go and play in a different tournament or leave the Champions League again or play outside the UEFA sanctioned competition. But keep in mind that this won't deter the likes of Florentino Perez and people who have been trying to push the Super League stuff, because 100 million is basically nothing compared to the money and the riches that were being offered to these clubs. 350 million quid basically as an upfront payment, remember that as well. And I think there was talk of about 350 million quid just for 3 matches in the Super League. So I wouldn't worry too much about the UEFA stuff. People will read into it whatever they want. They have to be careful as well. And UEFA, to their credit, do give Liverpool and these other 8 clubs credit for actually backing away from the Super League, whereas they're talking about Juventus, Barcelona and Real Madrid, you know, their punishment will be forthcoming. Now, what happens with the Premier League remains to be seen as well. You know, probably some type of a similar fine or something like that. But at the end of the day, I don't want any of this, and I know you guys don't as well, which is why I'm bringing it up. I know it's boring when we talk about fines and stuff like that, but I don't want any of this to be used as a get out of jail free card for our owners not to back the manager this summer. And today we wake up and we see the story that Mohamed Salah, and again, a lot of you guys are probably wondering where the hell I'm going with this, but Mohamed Salah today, it's been confirmed, is on the shortlist for Thomas Tuchel to join Chelsea. Now, when I picked myself up off the floor rolling around at that, I started to think into it, and you know, Chelsea have Erling Haaland, Romelu Lukaku and Mohamed Salah on this shortlist. Now, I can do a shortlist if you want. I can do a shortlist of the 3 hotties I want to replace my wife should she ever move on down the future, but doesn't mean that's going to happen. So I don't really pay much attention to it, particularly at a time when we know that Salah is going to be looking for an improved contract. On the day that we also find out that apparently Virgil van Dijk could be offered a deal that would see him earn over 400 grand a week at Liverpool to finish his career at the club. We wait and see whether there's truth to that or not. But these are all the type of stories that are going to be going around in the coming days and weeks, and don't get blindsided by them. Don't let them get to you. It's just more nonsense. Do you honestly think that we're going to... Now, I'm not saying that Chelsea couldn't afford him, because Chelsea could afford him. But do you honestly believe that Jurgen Klopp will sanction the sale of Mohamed Salah to a rival for the Premier League? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And even me, who was very critical of our owners and what they've done recently, this just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sure he may be on a short list, but that means absolutely sweet Fanny Adams in the grand scheme of things. No offence, but I don't rate Falk as a journalist. No need to offend. You're not offending me with that one, mate. He comes out with some absolute whoppers from time to time. I'll be the first one to admit that. You know, sometimes he coattails on other people, a bit of a tap-in most of the time, but I get where you're coming from. I mean, I'm not taking anything from this. I don't believe Mohamed Salah is going to go to Chelsea. Now, what does interest me, and interests me from a fearful point of view is the PSG link, because if Liverpool don't play ball with Mohamed Salah for whatever reason, whether Jurgen Klopp thinks that maybe we need to make a change, or maybe he will get his new contract and we'll all be happy. So whatever happens, he won't be onto a Premier League rival. I can absolutely assure you of that one. There's just no way that the club would do that. It would just be stupidity of the highest order, and whatever we think about our owners, whatever we think about the people at the club, they're not going to sanction this one. So you can absolutely throw that one in the bin, because it ain't happening. I don't think Salah will go to Chelsea. He won't go to Chelsea. No, that's not to say that Chelsea aren't a good sporting project, because look, they are right now. If you look at Chelsea and the players that they have there, the manager that they have there, the direction they're moving, it's a club that's on the up and up. So I'm not here knocking Chelsea. I'm just talking about this Christian Falk story that just seems to be absolute pie in the sky. As I said, I could make up a list right now. Mila Kunis, and two other hotties that I want to replace my wife should she decide to up and leave me. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, just means I've done a little shortlist. You get where I'm going with this, don't you? Any news on Daka? Again, I'm going to just be banging my head against the wall saying the same thing. No new news on Daka. The Basuma links are coming out stronger and stronger. There is some tentative links to Manchester City and Basuma, but I don't know how true that they are. Harry Wilson is another name that's been doing the rounds today, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people thinking that Harry Wilson should get a chance at Liverpool, and it seems as though the usual will happen. He'll come back, get pre-season, and then something will be determined about his future. I don't think he has what it takes to make it at the highest level at Liverpool. When I've watched him play, haven't watched him too much at Cardiff in all honesty, but when I watched him play when he was at Bournemouth and I watched him play when he was at Derby, you know, you have some highlight moments, some good things there, but there's some tracking back issues, some pulling out of tackles, and lack of commitment from what I've seen on the pitch at times. I'm not talking about on the training ground or anything like that, because I'm sure he trains very well. What do you think we need this transfer window, said Oscar. I think that we need to sign the centre-backs, which has been taken care of, with Canade is going to be coming in. I still don't know, for confirmation of no confirmation, whether the club are going to go ahead and trigger the 18 million option on Ozan Kabak. Could well do, but maybe Jurgen Klopp's waiting to see how he finishes the season, because we do still have 5 league games to play. What else do I think we need? We need another midfielder, obviously, whether that's a Basuma type character or a Rodrigo de Paul type character, a Houssem Aouar attacking midfielder, and I think we need a forward. And by forward I mean number 9, through the middle. Now, there has also been talk around Jadon Sancho, and I would be an idiot not to address that on the stream. Sancho's wanted by 3 clubs in England, so Chelsea, but then again you hear Christian Falk saying that they want Erling Haaland, so let's just go with United and Liverpool. Chelsea are there as well, but let's go with United and Liverpool. We know United have tracked Jadon Sancho for a long time. We know they've made their interest clear, and we know that there's a gentleman's agreement in place between Dortmund and Jadon Sancho that will see him leave at the end of the season should the right offer come in. What that offer is seems to be around the 80 million quid mark. But look, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what's going on with Jadon Sancho. Like everybody else, I'm intrigued. But today is a day that seems to be filled with bad news, by the way, around Liverpool Football Club with regards to these fines. Not just Liverpool Football Club, the whole Super League. The fines and stuff like that. And I just don't want to use that as an excuse. And I'd seen it as soon as it was put out. Straight away I'd seen people saying, well, there's FSG's excuse not to spend this summer. To me, there is no excuse for them not to spend this summer. They fucked up on the Super League. It's not the fans' fault. It's not the manager's fault. It's not the players' fault these fines are being issued. It's their own greed and their own stupidity. And on top of that, they have, of course, the legal fight to get out of the contracts that they signed to join the Super League. And that's got to be quite costly and quite lengthy as well. So whatever happens, I'd like to see the owners come out and say that, look, we made this fuck up and we're going to take it on the chin and soak up any of the costs associated with it. What have we got? Vlahovic, again, the striker from Fiorentina is what Jurgen Klopp there, not the real Kloppo, but our own Kloppo is mentioning. And yes, we have been linked to him, as have a few other clubs. I think he's still 21 years of age, if my memory's right, and he's put up decent numbers this season for Fiorentina. Fiorentina, who aren't really the Fiorentina of old, you know, they're nowhere near as good as they used to be, but I don't know too much about him other than the links to Liverpool. Now, I would prefer a Malin or a Daka or somebody like that personally, but we have to wait and see because there are some good players available. And I've seen more links today, by the way, and more stuff coming out that suggests that the guy from Borussia Mönchengladbach, Neuhaus, really has his heart set on a move to Liverpool. Now, that doesn't mean that Liverpool are going to go and get him. We have been linked with him, clearly linked with him by numerous sources. And, you know, it's always a good sign if a player wants to come to a club. Doesn't mean the club are going to trigger it, but, you know, Neuhaus has impressed a lot of people. So much so that I think even Bayern Munich have stepped up and taken notice of him. So we'll wait and see what happens on that one. But I honestly, I know I keep banging this drum, but I can't get past the Bissouma stuff. I really think that he's the player to come in and fill Gini Wijnaldum's shoes. And with regards to Gini Wijnaldum, actually, his agent has been attributed to of saying something along the lines of, if Bayern Munich are interested in Gini Wijnaldum, he'll be a free agent this summer. I'd advise any interested parties to contact me. So if that isn't a clear indication that Gini's leaving this summer, then I really don't know what is. So we do need to start having the serious conversation around who is going to come in and replace him, because we do need another body in there. And I'd like to see somebody in his early 20s, no older than 24, to come in. I'm very good, thank you, mate. I see a couple of people just asking how I am in the chat. I'm good. I read all of today's messages. I wouldn't even be bothered if being kicked. I don't know what that meant. Where's that? Kicked out next season's transfer window. Be blah blah blah. What else we got? What's everything about FSG will spend big? I've seen a couple of things but haven't read up. So Jake, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, mate, but I can give you a bit of a heads up on the situation. So there was talk that Liverpool had been very cautious in the transfer market over the last few windows because they were keeping the door open, or the possibility open, of a generational talent coming through. So whether that's a Sancho, a Haaland, and Mbappe, I don't know what you class as a generational talent, but that's the headline that's been bandied around. Now, of course, then COVID struck, and we hear the usual excuses of, it might be a quiet enough summer this summer. And the honest answer is that none of us really know what's going to happen this summer, because even if we did have a lot of money to spend, we're not going to go out there and just start telling everybody we've a shitload of money to spend, because then prices will be going up and up and up and up and up. So, again, Liverpool will be coy with regards to letting people know who they're interested in. And you usually see on these things that the interest is usually leaked from the other side. So if it's a German club, it'll be leaked in German media, so on and so forth. So, again, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Now, what we do know is that we're going to sign Canade, and I'm delighted with that one. And the sooner that deal gets done in the summer, the better we can start to look at the possibility of maybe moving to a back three at times next season. Thoughts on Valverde? He's a very good player, but we're not going to be going near Real Madrid at this moment in time. Dave, we don't take your logo away, mate. Your logo gets taken away if you don't pay your membership. So rather than having a go with us going, where's your logo? Mate, that's down to you, pal. That's and the reason your mod's been taken away is because you haven't been here, mate. Man, we made a decision on the moderators. We need 10 moderators for every game, so we pick people that are here for every game. But the membership thing is completely down to you, pal. It's got nothing to do with us. What have we got? Marvin said Liverpool can still get fourth or third. You know what, mate? I love the optimism and I want to get on board, but we haven't been able to put a run of 5 wins together in the league all season that I'm aware of, so I don't know if we'll be able to do it between now and the end of the season, but nothing would make me happier than to be sitting here at the end of the season being proved completely wrong and we're in the Champions League next year. I think maybe I've just been hurt too many times this season by getting my hopes up that I'm finally starting to come around to the idea that perhaps we'll be in the Europa League next season. I know it's not what any of us wants. Jurgen said Umtiti news. There is no Umtiti news. There's the usual bullshit links because Barcelona are trying to get rid of a player who's nowhere near good enough to come and play for Liverpool, and there's talk of a very low fee for him, but there is no link. There is no real link, mate. It's just horseshit links trying to tempt somebody into buying a player that Barcelona don't want. But sorry if I poo-pooed all over that story, but there is nothing to it. Do you think Salah will leave? The honest answer, mate, is I'm 50-50 on whether Salah will leave or not. I don't have any information that you guys don't have on this, by the way. I'm just trying to read between the lines on what's coming out from his agent and, you know, what isn't coming out as well. And what hasn't been leaked to the media has been that Liverpool want to sit down with Mo for contract talks, because there's stories out there doing the round about Van Dijk and a deal that could keep him at the club for the rest of his career, which I'm sure we'd all welcome. There's been talk around Fabinho as well, and that contract, and they have the same length of time left on their deals that Mohamed Salah does, which is 2 years at the end of this season. So it is a little bit worrying when Salah is, or his agent, I don't know if it was him or Remy Abbas, but one of them came out and said that they haven't been approached by the club for transfer talk, or not for transfer talk, for contract talks yet, which is pretty damn worrying when you think about it, because, as I keep saying, you're not going to want to let somebody as prolific as Mohamed Salah run down his contract to less than 2 years, going towards 18 months. That's just stupidity. So this summer, I think, will be a big summer with regards to Mohamed Salah's future. Does he sign on and stay at Liverpool for another 3 or 4 years? Or will the club maybe think that, you know, he's angling for a move away and we need to get as much as we can? The truth is, I don't know. But he certainly wouldn't be my choice to move on. I mean, I've said it before, as much as it pains me to say it, if we had to move on one of the front three, I would move towards Bobby Firmino. I think that he's just at the tipping point in his career, but yeah, it's a scary thought moving on Mohamed Salah, unless you follow that up with an Mbappe or something, which realistically isn't going to happen. So I'm worried about that one as much as anybody else. And as soon as I get any more news on it, and I am hounding people on it, I promise you, because this could be the biggest story of the summer. This could be the biggest story for a long time at Liverpool, and I don't want Salah to leave. I'd rather see him put through the centre, if anything. A new lamb was born today. Jurgen is gorgeous, said Jens. Thank you, mate. He's naming lambs after me, after Klopp. I love it, mate. I love your style, Jens. Well played. I think Firmino will finish his career at Liverpool, said Rohan. I don't. I'd love him to, but on merit. And this season, and I don't know if it was for just tiredness or whatever, but we haven't seen Bobby Firmino. And, you know, of all the players who rely on an engine in our team, like, you get your explosive pace from Salah and Mane at times, but Firmino relies on that pressing, that urgency, that high energy game. And I wonder perhaps as he hit that tipping point. I don't know, I'd love to be wrong, as I said. I really, really would. What else is there? I think Mane should leave. He's had a bad season. I will agree with you on that one, but there's something about Sadio Mane that I just think that he has that spark, that little something. And I know we haven't seen enough of it this season, but I don't see that he's lost a yard. I don't see that he's lost any of the skill set that's there. My dog's licking his own nuts over here, by the way. Gizmo, give it a rest there, fella, will you? There's children watching. Dog's over there going to town on himself. Basuma is a must, said Dan. I mean, Dan, yeah, I agree. I really like the lad. Mane is a team player, unlike Salah. See, I don't like the digs at Salah there, mate. I mean, unnecessary to say the least. Mohamed Salah is a team player because he goes out there week in and week out, plays for Liverpool Football Club, gives his all, puts the ball in the back of the net. And you can talk about people being selfish, but at the end of the day, forwards are inherently selfish, and they're only really classed as selfish if they miss. If they take their chances, they're brilliant. We all love them and we idolise them. If they miss it, at times they're accused of being greedy, and, you know, forwards are greedy. That's in their nature. That's how they get to where they are, by backing themselves. Salah might seriously not negotiate a new contract if we don't do well in the Europa League next year. Look, I don't buy into this nonsense about, and I'm not having to go at you here, by the way, mate, sorry. I don't buy into this nonsense about players wanting to move on if we're not in the Champions League. It's your fucking fault we're not in the Champions League. So, I don't buy into this. I don't buy into this whole, oh, he might manoeuvre away if we're not in the Champions League. Well, he's part of the problem of us not being in the Champions League. The fact we fell off a cliff, all the opportunities that have been missed. So, and I'd say this for any player, by the way, whether it's Van Dijk, whether it's Salah, whether it's Mane, whoever. We didn't get to the Champions League because you lads didn't perform well enough this season. For whatever reason. That's nobody else's fault. It's not the club's fault. It's not the manager's fault. It's a collective fault, and you guys are certainly part of that. So if anything, they need to put it right. And if they've got anything about them, which I think most of this group do, they're going to want to put that right. And they're going to want to show that this Premier League title wasn't a fluke. And they're going to want to show that they want to come back from this, and they want to get back to the very top of the game. And that's what I want to see from the team next season. That's what I'm expecting to see. You don't tell your top scorer. I know, Ron. I've no want, and I don't know any Liverpool fan that does want to move Mohamed Salah on. If anything, as I said before, I wouldn't mind seeing him kind of reinvented as a centre forward. What's your thoughts on Suarez to Liverpool? He's too slow. He's far too slow these days and unfit, mate. And it's not a dig at him. It's because he's just getting older. Luis Suarez will always have a goal scoring touch and a bit of skill about him, but not now. I mean, I'd rather have went for Aguero, personally, if you were looking for somebody who could be on a free contract. How would I feel if Salah leaves for Chelsea? It's not going to happen. I'm not saying Salah won't leave, but we're not going to sell him to Chelsea. Like, the owners are already hated. Can you imagine if that happens? Now, if that happens and Liverpool sign Mbappe, that's a different scenario altogether, but we probably know that that's not going to happen. And on Rodrigo de Paul, by the way, this Udinese player who we've been linked with, and has been linked with both Milan clubs as well. Important to point out in this that he's recently signed, I believe, unless I'm wrong on this, I think I'm right, that he's recently signed on with Mina Raiola. So, yeah, we have done business with Mina Raiola before, but, you know, I think that if he has gone and signed up with Raiola, I don't think we'll be seeing Rodrigo de Paul at Liverpool anytime soon, by the way. I'll be glad to see Genie go. He's been class for us, but so lazy this season. I don't see where the laziness comes in, mate. I think Genie's been a consummate professional. And he's played an unholy amount of games for this football club. Like, constantly available, always there. I mean, if he moves on, I wish him nothing but the best, but I would never use the word lazy to describe Genie. I honestly wouldn't. I think he's worked his ass off, to be fair, and, you know, if he fancies a move at this point in his career, he's served his contract at Liverpool, he's done what he signed on for, and I think he should go with a pat on the back for a job well done. Do I think Frankie de Jong would be a good replacement if Barca are willing to sell? Absolutely. Frankie de Jong is a wonderful footballer and not afraid to get into the box either. And I pointed out on yesterday's stream that one of the things that we need to address in this coming pre-season or off-season or whatever way you want to phrase it is the lack of creativity in goals from midfield, because we've got one assist from midfield, I believe, this season, which was a Milner corner. So we need goals and we need assists from midfield, and we need them badly. Now, when we play in a system that often at times doesn't allow midfield to show that creativity, then you're using your fullbacks. But even at that this season, the numbers have been nowhere near good enough from the fullbacks with regards, well, from their own very high standards, I should say. So yeah, it's an area that we definitely need to get our numbers from, because if your forwards aren't scoring, you're going to have to hope that your midfield is going to back in and chip in with a few goals, and look, they haven't been, and they haven't been for a while, to be fair. So I think that's an area. I think how we act in this transfer market may give us an indication of how Jurgen Klopp wants to set Liverpool up next season. Will we see both the centre-back signed, which may give us an indication of a possible switch to a 3-4-3 formation, or will we see another right-back brought in to maybe give Trent an opportunity to get some rest or push a little bit further forward at times in midfield and get a run there? What's going to happen in midfield? Will we see somebody like a box-to-box midfielder come in, or will we see a Houssem Aouar type creative midfielder come in? Will we see a winger, or will we see a centre-forward? Will we get a backup goalkeeper, or is Kevin Kelleher going to get a chance? There's so many interesting little subplots to this transfer window that I'm really intrigued by it. And there's a lot of good talent available as well this summer. I mean, look at the free transfers that are out there. I'm not saying Liverpool are in for any of them, but obviously Genie from Liverpool's a free transfer. Memphis Depay looks like he's gone to Barca, but there's a free transfer for you as well. I told you guys about the Hudson Edwards story before. More news about that seems to be breaking today. Apparently they've gone as far as to say that he even had a call from Jurgen Klopp trying to sell him on Liverpool, but again, it seems like he's somebody that doesn't believe that he'll get enough time at Liverpool, which to me translates into I'm shit scared and haven't got the balls to prove myself at a top club, so he may well go elsewhere. I think another club that have been linked with him have been Leicester City, and could be a good move from by all means, but for me, I don't want the player, I said this yesterday, or any player that doubts their own ability coming to a football club. It's never a good sign for me, or doubts the amount of minutes that they get. Diogo Jota didn't have those doubts when he signed on at Liverpool Football Club. He came in and started to prove a point straight away. Signing Kabak is a no-brainer. For me as well, Owen, I would agree. As well as Canade, by the way, I have to add that in there. But some people view this differently, mate, and I'm always open to hearing other people's opinion on a player because, look, you, I, or any other single person aren't the be-all and end-all of football knowledge, and I think we always need to be open to hearing other people's opinions on it. And I have been given some good opinions around Kabak for pro and con about whether we should keep him on or not, and I'm always willing to listen to those as well, even though sometimes I know I'm a bit cranky. If Salah leaves, who do you want to replace him? Well, look, let's be realistic about it. If he does leave, I want the superstar, nothing less. And I mean, even a Sancho doesn't quite cut it to me if Mohamed Salah moves on. If Salah moves on, for me, I'm wanting an Mbappe. I would say Haaland, but it's just not going to happen. Not because of the price alone, just his agent more than anything else. But, you know, the longer this drags out around Mohamed Salah, the more worried I get. And every day I get up and I hope that I read that there's a breakthrough or that Liverpool are going to look to start contract talks with him. But I wonder if there's not a game of brinksmanship going on, but if maybe he's going to start being painted into a corner now as a potential villain in this scenario to try and ease the way for him to be sold. And I hope that's not the case because he doesn't deserve that type of treatment, and neither does the club. Mohamed Salah always strikes me as somebody of absolute highest moral values, and I think he needs to be treated with that respect by the club as well. I reckon it'll get sorted in the summer, said Mark Lilly. Mate, this is the biggest summer for me that we've had in probably since we signed Van Dijk and Alisson. Since we brought those boys in. I know they weren't in the same summer, by the way. I know Van Dijk came in at Christmas, but in that period of time, I mean, this to me is the most important summer because we need to get this right. Now, we can't let loyalty or we can't let sentiment get in the way here. There are some people who just haven't cut it this season, and we need to be brutal about that. So Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Naby Keita, Bobby Firmino, Sheridan Shaqiri, Divock Origi, Harry Wilson, Marco Grujic, Adrian, they're all names that I think are potential candidates to leave the football club if the right offers come in. I'm not saying that the club are actively looking to sell all of those players, but some of them certainly are. And as I've said to you before, this link to Chamberlain and Dortmund really intrigues me because, could it be used as a bit of a make weight there in any potential negotiation for Sancho? We'll have to wait and see. Neuhaus or Bissouma? Geralt, I'm going to have to bow down to other people's knowledge on Neuhaus because I have not watched that much of him at all, buddy. I have started to watch a lot of Bissouma and he very much impresses me. But as I said to you earlier on, the promising stuff from Neuhaus is that you're hearing that he'd really love to come and play at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp, and that's always a positive in any sign when players are happy to be linked with your club and think of your club so fondly. I mean, desperate to play for Liverpool was one piece of journalism I'd seen put out there. Sarah said Son from Spurs. Happily, Sarah. Happily takes on. And I wonder what will happen at Spurs this summer because nobody seems to want the job. Everybody that's been linked with it seems to distance himself from it. Ten Hag signed a new deal at Ajax. And I wonder if Rafa will end up taking it, by the way. Just as a bit of a... Rafa and Graham Potter are the latest ones that I'd seen bandied around for the job there. So, yeah, will Harry Kane force his way out? If Harry Kane forces his way out, will Son say to himself, well, I'll be the number one man here, I'll stay? Or will he say, well, hang on, I've got a few years left in my career here, I want to go and move elsewhere? But I've always said, going back 2-3 years, Son is the type of player that would absolutely fit into a Jurgen Klopp system. Anywhere. He's very much a Jurgen Klopp style of player. Is there another club that wants him? PSG, do you think would be a good move for him? Who's this, mate? Is this in regards to Salah? PSG's plan for Salah is as a backup if Mbappe leaves, apparently. There's a couple of different things. So what I've read is that Pochettino wants Kane, but that the PSG hierarchy see Mohamed Salah as a better fit. Again, it remains to be seen what happens. But it would be far more palatable, as unpalatable as it would be, to move him on outside of the Premier League. I mean, moving Mohamed Salah to a rival would just... heads would explode. Would I take Yuri Tielemans? No. I've gone back and forth on this so many times, but he's just not consistent enough for me. I see sometimes I watch Yuri Tielemans playing and I go, yeah, baller, absolute baller, no doubt about it. And then other times he's just ineffective. So yeah, I would say no on that one, but with, the acknowledgement that he is a very tidy footballer. Love the stream. Thank you, buddy. I mean, I've really, really been blown away this season by how far the channel has come along. And even you guys, like, I know 500 people in the chat doesn't seem like a lot of times, but for 500 people to be giving up some of their Friday to come in and have a chat with me, I really, really appreciate that. Unfortunately, the YouTube Silver Play button wasn't delivered today. The delivery day from UPS has been pushed back to Monday, so myself and Connor will probably do that unboxing video early next week as soon as it arrives at his house. We had hoped that it was going to arrive today because it was scheduled to, and that we'd be able to do it tomorrow ahead of the Southampton game, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. Now I will of course be here tomorrow, quarter to 8, for a watch along of the Southampton game, followed by a full post-match show, match reaction as always. Jack Gale is going to be live on Mundo Sporto tomorrow doing a watch along of Manchester City versus Chelsea. He's going to be on there from about 5:15, so please do go across there and say hi to Jack. He did the Mundo Sporto podcast earlier on today as well. Craig's mic's way too low. I asked this at the very start of the stream, mate, was my mic okay? And everybody said yes. But I understand where you're coming from, because I have been messing around with it at the start. I'll hire it up a little bit, but everybody told me it was okay. But I've hired it up a bit more there. Love this channel. Hope for the best for you. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. I mean, I'm still pinching myself we hit 100k. Honestly, you've no idea what that means to me as a person. It means so much. It is low though. I'll figure it out later on, Joanne. I'll make sure it's all good to go. Oliver, thank you, pal. You're so kind. I'm just a normal dude. This is what blows me away with all this stuff. This doesn't feel real to me. Like, knowing 100,000 people have subscribed to listen to this idiot have a bit of fun with people. And I know I get cranky at times, but that's me. Love me, hate me, like me or don't. I am who I am and I won't change. I'm too damn old. I'm too damn stubborn. Bit of good news today though. I still have a toenail. People are going to be wondering, what's this about? Yesterday, before the watch along of the Arsenal game, I stubbed my toe on the metal bar underneath my sofa, and it was piss and blood throughout the entire watch along of the game. I had my foot on a bag of frozen vegetables for the entire game, and it just went really swollen and really black, and I was fully expecting that toenail to fall off, but man's okay. I woke up today and there's still a toenail there and the swelling has gone down, so all good on that one, ladies and gentlemen. Conte to Tottenham. Will he leave Inter Milan? Do you know what I mean? He's just won Serie A there. I don't know if he'd pack up with Inter right now when he's got a bunch of players there that are really putting in the hard yards, from Lukaku, Martinez, the season that they've had, stopping Juventus from going 10 in a row, leading them back into the Champions League. I don't know if he'll fancy a trip back to play for Spurs, who, let's be honest, aren't going to win anything. Like, that's not me being slagging off Spurs. I've no reason to slag off Spurs, but you know, they don't win trophies. What about Chiesa? Chiesa of Juventus, formerly of Fiorentina. Is this the guy we're talking about? Again, not seen anything to link us to Chiesa, unless I've missed something that's come out, but I've not seen that anyway. When are you collabing with Paddy Murphy? I haven't had the time to think about it, buddy. I mean, I'm not ignoring Mr. Murphy. I haven't had the time to think about it, and I haven't really done anything for TikTok in a while, so it's just a matter of getting time, mate. I need to manage my time a bit better, and hopefully if I go full-time over the summer, which fingers crossed, I'm hoping we're inching closer to it, and I'm hoping that this will become a full-time gig for me in the next month or two. So, you know, I'm not asking you to do that, except keep your fingers crossed for me on that one, folks. Am I still leaving at the end of the season? No. I mean, I thought I'd cleared this up, but I understand some people probably don't watch every stream, and that's completely understandable. But no, what happened there, Harry, was that I had an agreement in place with my wife that I would leave at the end of the season if this didn't become a full-time job, because, you know, it's been 3 years now of doing this, and I love every minute of it. But she said to me on Mother's Day that I'm not allowed to quit, that I have to keep going on. So, you know, again, I have to say thank you to my missus for being an absolute legend. Leicester might flop again. I know they're 2-0 down. I had the game on before I came on to do the stream. Thoughts on Bellingham? Absolutely sensational talent. So will stay at Dortmund for the next season. I've no doubt about that. Dortmund have put it out there that there is no way that they're selling Jude Bellingham. And for him as well, I think right club, right time, and he will come back to the Premier League, and he is an absolute baller without any doubt. He is a quality player. If Salah leaves, will you still support him? I don't know what you mean by support him, mate. I don't support individual footballers. I don't like this fad of, maybe it's not a fad, but this new type of football fan that follows a player. Obviously, if he's, if you're Egyptian, of course you keep an eye out for your national hero, or same with Ireland. I had certain Irish players that I would keep an eye out for, but no, if Mohamed Salah leaves Liverpool, then he'll get a thank you from me. But I support the club, mate. I support the badge. I support Liverpool, not Mohamed Salah. Every player that comes and goes, I'll enjoy them when they're here. I'll thank them for their time. I'll enjoy the moments of brilliance that we've seen with them. But other than that, mate, no, it's the club for me. The club is what it's all about. Glad to hear. Sorry, don't get to watch every team. All good, Harry. All good, mate. No problem. And thank you for your kind words. Would I take Sam Maximum at Liverpool? It seems every year there's a player. Last year it was Traore. This year it's Sam Maximum. But look, I love a pacey wide player, a pacey attacking player. I've said this time and time again. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to talk about players when they're not linked to Liverpool. Now, I had seen the whole stuff around him and Mane when he was saying, he's honoured that people like him, but, respects Sadio Mane. So he's a good lad, Sam Maximum, by the looks of it. But I've not seen any interest in him from us, genuinely. But, he's a good player, definitely. Is there any club showing an interest in Mane? You know what, Matthew? Surprisingly enough, I've not really seen anything linking Mane with a move away. Would I play Trent in midfield? No, David. What I'd love to do, though, is take Chelsea's system, basically, and switch to that 3-4-3. So, you've got your three centre-backs there to provide cover. You see how far Antonio Rudiger was getting forward, by the way, against Real Madrid. That's a centre-back, and he was attacking so much. I love that. And with Trent and Robbo as the wide wing-backs in that system, you pretty much have them as midfielders. So, I think that's why I like the idea of playing the 3-4-3 system. What happened with Thiago and Tsimikas? Tsimikas has been a really strange one, hasn't he? He had COVID, obviously. He's had injuries as well. And I think the Europa League could be a blessing in disguise for the likes of Tsimikas, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, more so than he gets game time now, but just to give him more experience again, and maybe some younger players. So if there's any positive spin to be put on the Europa League, if there's not much, let's be honest about it, then that might be it. That the likes of Tsimikas, Nico Williams and that get more game time. With regards to Thiago, I think it's been simply that he has not had a chance to play with the midfield has been brought in to play with. So, I expect we'll see better of Thiago next season. I'd never write any player off after one season in the league, particularly even somebody as talented and as decorated as Thiago is. He still has to learn. It's a different league, it's a different culture, it's a different way of playing the game. So I think we'll see the best of him next season. Lewis said, you can keep Salah, don't want them back. Apparently your manager does though, Lewis. But, you won't be getting them one way or the other, pal, so it's all good. I really wish Kelleher signs a new deal. Look, Caoimhin Kelleher's really highly thought of at the football club. Again, I tell people this all the time, but when he played for Ringman and Rangers, he was a forward up until the age of 15, which, just shows you how quickly he's taken to the position as a keeper. But I think maybe a loan move for him, or maybe fully promoted up to the number 2. It's very difficult though with a young keeper like that, because you should try and get that balance right between experience and being a backup, and how much game time will he get if he stays at Liverpool? Well, normally I would say not much, but with the injuries that we've seen to Alisson this season, he might get a bit. Who is Kelleher? Caoimhin Kelleher is a goalkeeper at Liverpool, mate, an Irish international, an Irish current under-21 international, soon to be full international. Love your channel, respect from Toronto. Thank you, man. Lots of love right back to you over there in Toronto. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to head off into the weekend. I will see you wonderful, wonderful people tomorrow, hopefully, for a watch-along of this Southampton game. I'll be live from 7:45. We'll have a post-match show coming up as always, and I promise you, make sure you've got your subscription. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on, because we have a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun new stuff coming up over the summer and ahead of next season. So thank you for everything so far. Thank you for being part of our community. I hope you continue to enjoy what we do, but I promise you, we're only getting started. We have big plans for the channel, and we want you guys to stay along with us for the ride. So lots of love to all of you. Take care of your families. Have a lovely weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday.